All right, everybody. We are going into the grand finals of the next tournament. I finally got my hands on these most secretive and hidden of replays. Up here in the top right, we have Enter Esports Serral. And his opponent in the bottom left side, representing Shopify Rebellion, it is none other than Lambo, who has just made a video recently where he detailed his entire plans in this entire tournament, and he went through his strategies and explained everything from qualifying to the tournament all through to his opponents and his mind games. And I have actually, I've loved this video. I've watched it twice now. It's so great. I'm going to link it up in the description below. If people could link it for those who are watching live right now as well in the chat. If someone could link that up for me, that would be fantastic. But it's such a good video. He edited it all himself, and he kind of showcases it all. And this is the grand finals. And for Lambo to be here in a premier tournament, grand finals, a tournament that had Maru, Clem, Serral, Raynor, Rogue, all these guys in it, it is incredible. And let's talk about his mindset going into this. Hatch first for Serral, very predictable on a longer distance map, but Lambo has opened up with a 12-11. 12 gas, 11 pool. This is the fastest, most all-in cheese you could possibly do. Notice he cannot afford a queen. This is literally a one-punch knockout blow that needs to do critical damage. And he even said in his video going into this that he was like, look, this was Serral's map pick. I knew that this is such a rare cheese, almost no one does it, and you need to know a very specific response to hold on because it hits so hard and fast. And notice he's already sneaking these Zerglings out and hiding them. So this is a real secretive play, and the other Zerglings he's going to hide, and then when Ling Speed kicks in, he's going to flood across, have Banelings already secretly morphed, and he's going to run in and try to kill all of Serral's drones. So he said, look, I knew this is such a unique variation of a cheese that Serral would need to know the perfect response. I figured he wouldn't know how to do it, and I just went for broke. And I love this idea. So look at that. Already got Zerglings hiding. He's running his Zerglings out, and that's actually delayed, so it maybe looked like it was just a pull first at first, but there we go. Spinecrawler immediately in the main base, and a Baneling there. Serral is doubling down on his defense, and he doesn't even have an Overlord built yet. Oh my god, this is so efficient from Serral. He's going to have to build that Overlord probably in a moment, but for now, he's not even bothering. He's saying, no, I'm going to lose units fighting. Just build the spines, and look, he's trying to wall off. Okay, he's going to try, he's got to put Zerglings in this gap on hold position to block the Banelings. He didn't block it. He didn't block it. Okay, but a great spready from the man himself. Oh, the Banelings need to get some big hits here. Oh no, okay, he goes for the spine. Not the best Baneling hits there, and if that spine gets up, I think he might have held. The spine goes down, though. The second spine will finish. Oh, a few of the Zerglings get surrounded. They do go down. And it looks like Lambo here, he's now facing a player that's about to be morphing Banelings of his own. And that was a perfect response by Serral. The spine in the mineral line, the secondary spine, everything focused on defending that main. And the fact that he never built the Overlord, this is so well done by Serral. Perfect handling of this scenario. The Spinecrawler will move over. Lambo's got to keep going. Remember, though, still no queen. He has the shittest production you've ever seen. Even without injecting, Serral has double the production. Those Banelings get stopped in their tracks. And with the Banelings and the queen and the spine, he's going to defend his 2-base. Honestly, Lambo has not found the damage that he needs, guys. He has only killed some Zerglings and Banelings. And he has to tap out. A quick game 1 advantage there for Serral. All right, going into map number 2, guys. This is going to be Curious Minds. And Lambo representing Shopify Rebellion in the bottom right. We've got Serral in the top left. Now, talking about his mindset on this, I really loved Lambo's analysis, right? So what he kind of said is, look, this base is so hard to defend your third because they always get such a big concave aggressively. So if they're attacking with Mass Roach, they can have this giant arc. You don't really have choke points to defend giant arcs out here. Even if you take the other third, they can come down here and have a giant arc between your bases. So he said, look, defensively, it's just so hard to play reactive StarCraft on this map. Because of that, he knew Serral was going to try and be aggressive. He was going to predictably choose some sort of aggressive timing attack. And Lambo said, you know what? Because I know that's coming, I'm going to play reactive. I'm going to play defensive. But I'm going to do it with the early warning knowledge that I know there's a good chance he's going to get very aggressive with some sort of...
Hey, I'm Ruff's dad.
Some sort of roach push. My god, did we just hear Barb? Hello, Barb. I didn't even hear the fart noise. Hey, I am Ruff's dad. Hello, Ruff's dad. Thank you for the cheer. Much love for the support, mate. That kind of scared me. I did not hear that voice. I was like, where is this voice coming from? Oh my god. Thank you very much for the support, mates. But yeah, so this is going to be interesting. It's hatch first versus hatch first. Both sides just kind of rallying onto the gas slowly. Neither one pulling workers off minerals onto the gas. As you can see, they're prioritizing the economy and just really straight up play so far. Both of them sending 2 overlords forward. Where's this overlord going? Okay. Yeah, I find this map very awkward to play. It's a map where you see a lot of like just sharp pushes into each other and trying to just shove forward, take the fight to your opponent. I do wonder if either player goes gasless, because I actually think going for the kind of gasless style, you know, the fast Evo Roach wall off, the 2-base style, is so good on this map. Even though the 3rd base is kind of stretched out a little bit, so ling-bane could get aggressive. And ling speed does start up for Lambo, so it looks like he's probably not going for that. Ling speed for Serral as well. 1 worker off gas for Serral, 1 worker off gas for Lambo. Identical builds. Lambo's up a drone, though. How is he up a drone? 2 Zerglings got built a little bit earlier. Serral wants to go scouting with those. And we're going to see moving out towards that 3rd base. Serral takes a more defensive 3rd. Up here in a straight line, easy to defend in my opinion. Lambo takes a forward 3rd. That could be a very good launching pad for his own attack later in the game. But I think it's a little harder to defend in the early stages. So Zerglings come forward. Of course, Lambo's own Zerglings will deal with that. And a Baneling Nest goes down here for Lambo, so he's really just playing very safe. Serral, it's 2 minutes 50. He hasn't dropped a Baneling Nest yet, so it looks like he's probably just going to skip on that. At the very least, he's not worried about having Banelings ready for any sort of speedling flood from Lambo. And indeed, yeah, he's going to build a few more Zerglings. So what I think Serral's doing, he's going to go for a speedling pressure, try to keep Lambo on his side of the map. There we go, 20 Zerglings in the queue. And then he's going to go straight for the Roach Warren behind that. Lambo, on the other hand, how many Zerglings has he got? 4. And 2 are scouting and 2 are at home. He's building 10 more Zerglings though, so he is going to play safe. Okay, I thought he might chuck an EU there and just play way too greedy. But look at this, he sees Zerglings coming out now. There's a lot more Zerglings rallying out. No Banelings morphed on the front, surprisingly here for Serral. Oh wait, that's because he didn't build a Baneling Nest. He's making one now though. Oh, that's fascinating. So Serral does opt for a Baneling Nest. It's just a very late Baneling Nest. That makes me think Serral might want to go into mutas behind this since he's avoiding that Roach tech. He's going to not really find anything here. The Ling, Queen, and the Banelings for safety does defend. I would argue that Lambo maybe should leave a Baneling on his natural or main base ramp. Look at the way he's posturing, though. He's shepherding these Lings away, and a Roach Warren does go down for him. Both sides playing rather safe at this point. Evo Chamber goes down here for Serral. 2 Zerglings come in, and they do see what looks like an economic follow-up with that wall off going down. Pressure does not really find the mark. So if we look at the income tab, of course, we can see Serral was a little ahead in income, then Lambo a little ahead. Now Serral taking that as well, but it's very, very close to even. So that's not a big advantage either way. Both sides just kind of seesawing back and forth in the economy lead. And the carapace upgrade goes down here for Serral. Okay, so that's a big sign of aggression. This is Dark's favorite build order. Carapace usually means you're going to go for a big Ravager Zergling attack, and the carapace, of course, makes your Zerglings much tougher versus the enemy Zerglings. Does help against their roaches as well, that sort of thing. Helps against the queens, the drones. All those units going to do a lot less damage in that scenario, whereas +1 and, of course, the lair. Lambo going for a more solid standard follow-up. Now, both players are, of course, walling off their natural, which means there's no way to drone the 3rd. No way to scout into the natural. You can only scout the 3rd. And notice that, look at this, fake drones. So Serral's taking drones 2 at a time, transferring them. So it looks like he's got a full 3rd base, but actually a lot of those workers are just extra workers that have been pulled over there. And Lambo, if he sees some more of those drones transferring, that's really going to trick him. Tries to get in there, doesn't see anything. No signs of aggression. Lambo is going up to 5 gases. Oh, he's been very, very greedy for such a small map right now. 5 gases, almost 60 drones, but he is starting roach production. So he's not trying to get ahead economically. That's a mistake a lot of players would make here against Serral, is being worried about falling behind economically. Notice Serral, he's banking up all of his roaches, and now it's time. He's going to move out. 13 roaches, 5 more on the way. Guys, this is going to be 18 roaches with carapace. Mass speedling production's about to start behind it as well. This is going to be a giant attack. He might even make some banelings in here with it. Lambo, though, is stopping on 59 drones preemptively. He's seen no sign of an attack coming, and yet he preemptively stopped short of the 6th gas. He stopped short of those last 4 drones on minerals, and he's got himself a 12 worker lead. Maybe still a bit too big, though, that lead. This is still going to be very damn close. Lambo, though, as we said, mentally prepared for some sort of attack from Serral. As a result, he blindly played safe against this. Will it be enough? Nice choke point that he's in here, but the banelings for Serral, watch out! Oh, he's taking some pretty big baneling hits there. not the best. Those banelings could have detonated a little bit better, actually. They went too deep. But, oh, a few drones going down. Drones being forced to pull. He cannot lose his roaches. Lambo, he's losing a lot of drones. Nice hold position, but then he starts A-moving the drones again. The roaches on the top for Serral trying to crack through here. +1 kicks in during the fight, and he's still got the roach count. And he's actually got a massive roach advantage. Roach speed is coming in now as well. Lambo holds. He's lost 17 drones, but roach speed's kicking in. That means he can chase these roaches down. Look at that. There we go. Massive speed advantage on the roaches. And he's holding down the roach key. He's not trying to recover that economy. He says, screw it. You've been building zerglings. Those are shit units right now, mate. Roaches are way better. Pulls back. Big zergling intercept on the rally. Serral trying to pull him away. Trying to distract him. But the roach rally is going to be able to defend these on its own as he pushes the front. And that is it. The Zerglings kill a few roaches, but that's almost all the Zerglings cleaned up. The roaches on the front still causing an absolute ruckus. There's just not a lot of roaches here for Serral. He's trying to build more spines, more roaches, more lings, but the roach speed +1 range advantage there for Lambo is going to allow him to crack on through. Look at this. The line is crumbling. The line is just too thin. They cannot hold. And Lambo here with some great mental preparation defends Serral's attack. Even though Serral hit it so darned well, Lambo not taking any greedy risks here on this map. And that ties up the series 1-1. All right, let's go straight into game number 3, guys. Top right side of 2,000 atmospheres. This is Serral. Serral. His opponent in the bottom left, Shopify Rebellion's Lambo. The Lambo.
Thanks for the Bezos bucks.
Thank you, Ukazu, for the sub there. Appreciate that. His last name is Brosig, for those who don't know. So if you guys ever wondered about how much of a bro Lambro is, his last name literally is Brosig. It's actually insane. And if you guys have ever hung out with Lambo, you'll very quickly realize he's a bit of a Chad. He's there. All of us are like avoiding making eye contact, you know, being pro gamers and people who spend too much time playing StarCraft. And he'll just be like, looking you straight in the eye, and he'll be like, yeah, and he's got those shoulders thrust back, that confident gait, you know, the way he's walking around and stuff. It's just, he plays sports, kicks the football around. It's crazy. It's crazy. Very intimidating, bit of a Chad. But Serral, on the other hand, bit more of what we expect from a gamer. Soft-spoken, making dry jokes that you don't realize are jokes until a few minutes later. You're like, that was a weird comment he made. And you're like, oh, it was that. And you realize he's actually been trolling you the whole time. Lambo's the guy who'll be like, what's up, bro? And then you like jump in the air and chest thump you to greet you. And you're like, did you just chest thump me as a greeting? And he's like, fuck yeah. Football, sports. So, yeah, that's totally Lambo, definitely. For those people who actually never watch live tournaments or have only been following StarCraft during the pandemic online era, I do really feel bad for people who actually believe anything I say and trust my kind of explanations of these plays. Some have said they are not just colorful, but maybe highlighted, sparkles thrown on top, and might exaggerated, but point stands, definitely Lambo's a bit of a Chad. Now, referring to my notes on Lambo's lovely video, he actually said that going into this, he actually kind of from the start of the game said, you know what? I think that same attack that Serral just did to me, it's a fantastic attack, and I think I'm going to actually try and do the same thing back at you. So Lambo was kind of thinking, hey, if we can get the game to go normal enough, I'm going to do the same strategy. The difference is that Serral really tried to get some momentum going with the ling-bane early. Lambo is just going to play purely defensive at the start, and it's going to be much more of a crisp, perfect early game into that, whereas Serral's was more of a flexible, see what I can get done, and then jump forward into that as the next step. And just 2 Zergling pressure, nothing big on both sides. Zerglings will defend. Baneling Nest, identical timing for both sides, 12 seconds earlier and 10 seconds earlier. So both of them putting that down before the 2-minute 50 mark. We always talk about that as being the kind of general rule, guys, is you want to get the 3rd hatchery and immediately drop your Baneling Nest. Otherwise, Ling Speed off hatch first could kick in. They could run over and cancel your 3rd base. You want to be able to morph Banelings pretty much the moment you see those Zerglings flooding out. So notice here, Ling Speed is going to kick in for both players right around the same time as these Baneling Nests finish. And that's how you can see just how tight these builds are. So if suddenly your Overlord sees 20 Zerglings flood out, Morph 2 banelings at home, and you are solid on the D. Oh, he's gonna get in! Serral Zergling. Serral Zergling. Hey! Oh, he went down. He went down. So he doesn't get up the ramp, doesn't get to see anything inside there. Lambo is going to say, hey, I, on the other hand, will get in. So very well done by Lambo. Gets a full scout around this base. Notice you can see he's queuing up those commands so he can keep macroing. Does end up losing it in the end. But you can see he's also skimped. He's only built 8 Zerglings versus the 10 of Serral. And +1 ranges on the way, as well as a Roach Horn there for Serral. Lambo, on the other hand, looking to just drone up a little bit more. Now, where does he stop the drone count? Is it 48 drones like what Serral did? Maybe. But keep in mind, one of the key things he's going to have to do is disguise the fact that this third is not actually getting droned past a certain point. So look at that. He's already grabbed 2 drones, sent them over there, and then another 2 drones, sent them over. But he does it a few at a time to make it look like organic droning. Because normally, if you're droning a base and you've got your rally point set over there, they just kind of go over there 1 or 2 at a time. And remember, this is exactly what Serral should be looking for is, hey, are you droning your third? Because if you're not, it's not safe to drone my third. One of Serral's banelings gets set off, and notice Serral, he gets blocked on the natural. He runs in here. He sees quite a few drones there. I would send a few more out if I was you, Lambo. I feel like Lambo really could definitely transfer a few more workers. He's already into roach production, but you know, he's going to keep it just at that level. And I don't know, has he really... Oh, I don't know, man. I think Serral, does he get wind of what's going on? Another drone, just a single drone transfer would help convince him, and then another 2 after it as well. Serral's building 4 roaches, though, and he's doing this off an even lower worker count than Lambo did in the previous game. That Zergling does get stopped. Oh, did he see the gas? That's a fake gas. Look at that. Lambo puts down a gas in front of the Zergling just to try and sell the story. Oh, that's so cute. He has no intention of using that gas. But once again, lots of drones on the base, sign of greed. Gas on the base, sign of greed. And another 9 drones! And Overlord speed! Serral got completely tricked by that. Oh my god, I thought he'd actually read it. I thought he'd read it correctly because he was already building roaches, but he built 4 roaches, and then he went straight back to drones. Oh no, Serral, trying to desperately put spine crawlers down. He knows he's in a huge situation right now. He's got a lot of lava available. He's trying to add roaches in here, but he does not have enough to defend this first wave. This third base is toast, man. The banelings are going to come forward. Oh, does cancel one of the spines. Lambo's just getting in here before those spines can finish, and I think this is going to be potentially game over there. He focuses down the drones. The spine crawler dies as well. Another non-cancelled spine crawler. It's a lot of money going down there. Serral, he's pulled every queen to the front. He's lost everything. Even that spine will not get up. Look at that. He'll focus that just as it finishes. It gets 1 hit off, and then it dies. And here we go. Lambo, he feels that victory is within his grasp, and he's going to push right on in there and just try to get on top of the rally. A lot of roaches are popping out for Serral. He's going to have to pull the drones as well, but the drones trapped behind the roaches, trying to get them in front. More roaches coming out from behind. Lambo may have overcommitted by going in beyond the natural wall, but look at this. I love the way he pulled back here on this position. Oh my god, a spine got up in the mineral line. I did not even notice that. He's going to go back down there and try to overwhelm that spine now with his lings. The roaches need to help out there. He's trying to fight, but he's umming and ahhing. He's going to lose the Ravager Cocoon. Oh, that's really big mistakes here for Lambo in how he's taking this fight. He needed to kill that spine crawler before fighting the roaches, but now he's trying to focus the hatchery down, and that's going to cost him. He's going to lose so many units. Oh my god, he keeps changing his mind. Does he get... Okay, he gets the hatchery at the end. He does snipe it down. He's up to 56 workers behind it. So Lambo does take a lead here. But Serral, he's got a spire transition, a sneaky spire transition coming in. And most importantly, he has 22 roaches. Now, he doesn't have roach speed. Serral's not counterattacking. This is a huge mistake. Serral does this, especially on this map versus Raynor. He wins fights massively, and then he just sits his army at home. Serral is making a big mistake right now. I get he doesn't have roach speed, and he's worried about there being more Zerglings on the map, but he's got pretty good Overlord coverage. Look at his vision. How is he not going across the map at least to threaten, at least to scare Lambo? This seems really weird for me. It's like one of the really big, big problems there, dude. Really big problems. I feel like, I don't know, it's obviously like, okay, Lambo's stuck building roaches anyway, so he probably would have been safe, but I don't know, man. Lambo's only now up to 19 roaches. Serral could have already hit, and he maybe could have committed to that counterattack. He would have been +1 attack versus +1 carapace, so he has the better quality upgrade. But he's going to wait for the Spire now. So Serral Gonna try and surprise Lambo with the mutas. Lambo's doing nothing but massing roaches. Okay, so it feels like Lambo, I think, is not scouting, and that's a problem. Lambo is kind of just assuming we're in a roach war, and he's getting a big lead in the roach count, but that's because the mutas are out. And there's no overseer scouting or anything like that, and I think this might, you know, Lambo, he's so good when he kind of knows what's going to happen next. He's so good at predicting his opponents, but, oh, this is too late. He's going for a roach timing right now with 1-1. He's trying to hit a 1-1 roach timing attack, but the mutas are out. They're going to kill all of his Ravagers before he even arrives. Look, he even was planning to go for the rocks. He did not realize that these mutas were on the way. Oh, no. He should run home. He actually should run home, drone, and build spores and queens right now because it's not that many mutas. He's going to try and commit with his roach advantage, but look at this. Serral pulls the drones. He's microing back with his roaches. He's going to let the hatchery tank as much damage as it can. And that's such a clever usage of that. The mutas killing every single Ravager. The Ravagers are gone. If Serral can clear this army up, he's still got muta air control. And Lambo's doing nothing but building roaches and queens right now. A fantastic engagement with the mutas overhead for Serral. And that is going to be a dominating turn in this matchup. Lambo, he's still got a worker advantage. But dude, what a good fight. What a good fight for Serral. Serral is up 17 roaches versus 10. Of course, a lot more roaches in production for Lambo. He's building some spores as well. So only 6 mutas. I feel like queens alone maybe could have defended this. No spore ready in the third base. I do like that he skipped his spores as long as he did, but now he's paying the price for it. He's losing 4 or 5 drones. Turns out just having those a few seconds earlier would have made a big difference. And another drone. Looks like it will go down there. Serral, though, messing up his micro. Doesn't quite get the focus on it. Gets the drone in the red and then just pulls out. +2 ranges on the way for Lambo. Serral's economy is still kind of gypped, guys. He's only on 58 drones. Lambo's on 54. Neither player has a 4th base up. I mean, it's kind of... This game actually could still go either way. And really, in my mind, it's who can get to a 4th base. And I think for Lambo, you want to start spreading that creep out to that 4th ASAP. You've got your 6 queens, so that gives you a bit of a defensive boost. It's just the problem is that you can't really threaten an attack. And that's why I kind of question the fact that Serral isn't droning or taking a 4th base. He's just making Carapace and Mass Roach Ravager, and it seems like these two both respecting each other's roach armies so much that they want to do nothing but commit to roaches. And that can work, but it feels a little bit like a return to Heart of the Swarm. I'm going to make roaches off not quite 3 base. Like, I'm also going to make roaches off not quite 3 base. And I think what Legacy's shown in the last year, especially a year or two, has been players have found a way to take a 4th and defend it. Found a way to go up the tech tree towards the lurkers, towards the hive and all that sort of stuff. So even though the mutas have got a good map control, yeah, about time we see a 4th base from Serral here. And I think he just wants to win with a giant roach all in. I mean, Lambo's trying to invest in Burrow and roaches because that's his only way of getting on the map. That might be a bit too much expenditure in not roach though. Right now, there is a narrow weak point where the roach ravager advantage is very real for Serral. Oh my god, Lambo has no map vision. He's going to get completely blindsided. Serral's going to get position. Serral moving on in. Doesn't take the angle. I really thought he was going to spread to the south and get in the mineral line. Doesn't go for it. Serral playing so cautiously right now. Muta's still just dancing around. Serral had a pretty big army advantage. Surprised he didn't push the envelope there. And the Muta's going to come on in, get an Overlord. They'll see if they can grab a drone or 2 as well. He gets 2 drones. Will he get a 3rd? Yes, he will. Does take big damage on one Mutalisk, though. He's going to retreat to the edge of the map to heal for a little bit. Goes back in, looks for an Overlord, but... Wow, Red Hit Point Muta in the open, man. Pulls it back. Tunneling Claw Roaches. Big opportunity here for Lambo, but it looks like Serral's aware of it. 3 Overseers morphing. He's pulling all of his Roach Ravager back. I think he saw the spikes on the top of those Roaches. That is the visual indicator that tells you Tunneling Claws has finished. Serral, he's going to see those Roaches now. Oh, big attack on the front. Lambo. Well, this attack's really bad. Lambo. This is a terrible attack for Lambo. Oh, I think he thought he had the Roach advantage here, but he ends up just basically presenting his army on a platter. And Serral just absolutely monster modes that army. Lambo does have to tap out there. Let's rewind that real quick. So I think Lambo, I don't know if he thought Serral's army was out of position. I mean, we've got a total of 49 Roaches, 9 Ravagers for Serral. So let's just say 58 Roaches versus 60 for Lambo. So it's almost identical there because Lambo's not quite maxed. Also, I think some of his roaches might still be rallying. Well, there's 2 in production. But I think the moment he saw that whole army was there, Lambo, we're watching from his camera, he should have pulled back. So he runs in here, and that's kind of crazy because that is actually Serral's entire army. And you're engaging it with your army minus 15 roaches on the left. Now, if Serral, half of his army was chasing these roaches, this makes perfect sense. But I think Lambo committing here was a huge mistake. And I think it was a position in the game where this still technically could have gone either way. I mean, the mutas are annoying and it gives map vision to Serral, but is there a worker advantage? No. Is there a supply advantage? No. Is there an upgrade advantage? He's slightly ahead on his +2 carapace. This was actually still a very close game. And as I said, it was going to be hard to secure a 4th, but Lambo could have done it and crawled to a late game. The question is, when you're playing against Serral, do you really want to do that? Do you really want to play a late game with no map control, with a slightly later 4th and slightly later upgrades? Let's just say there's a little bit of pressure that gets put on you just because you're playing against Serral. So not the greatest engage. He was already behind. He committed really hard, and it was not the fight he was looking for. Great defense by Serral. Takes the 2-1 lead. All right, guys. We are going to go right to the next map here. It is, of course, he's down a game, and he's going to pull out the big guns. It's 1 drone, 13 gas, 12 spawning pool. This is not quite as all in as the previous version. We might see a queen, but it is going to be a big speedling, baneling rush up against Serral in the top left of the map, who looks like he's going... Well, we'll find out. We'll find out if he builds a hatchery or a pool on 16. If he's going pool first, he's going to be very happy. If not, Lambo's going to be in good stead. Lambo said going into this map, I knew Serral on a small map like this, seeing 13-12, will give up the hatchery, just try to defend the main, and I'll just expand and take a hatchery behind it. So Lambo's whole plan was, look, I'm not committing as hard as game 1, but I still think I'm going to get the hatchery snipe. I have to get that hatchery snipe. That is the goal. And it is indeed hatch first. And of course, if he went up against pool first, he'd be in big, big trouble. And damn, dude, damn. This is going to be interesting to see how it plays out. So 14 overlords. This is a 14 drone attack, guys. 13 gas, 12 pool. He's going to build... So if he wants to build the queen, he might only build 1 zergling. But he goes, nope, straight for 4 zerglings. No queen, guys. Immediate ling speed and 4 zerglings, 6 zerglings. And he's going to pull a worker off gas to make a baneling nest as well, I believe. So this is a version which, once again, still very aggressive. Might even go hatchery before queen with the follow-up. Pulls off as he hits 50 gas. Drops the baneling nest. And we've got that zergling rally going. Now, guys, let's go to Serral's vision. Will he see this coming? Serral, of course, has no idea what's happening just yet. Does the overlord glimpse this? I think he sees it straight away. Okay, he doesn't even try to hide it. Just goes straight through. Immediately, Serral responding, though. He's already sending a drone down the front just to check in case there's a hatchery that got cancelled and a spine crawler that got built. That's what he's looking for. He's looking for a sneaky spine crawler. He doesn't see anything. He's going to pull back to that main base with those other guys, and already it's on, guys. He's pulled 2 workers off gas, 3 workers, so he's only going to make 2 banelings. Oh, Lambo already prioritizing his minerals, building a queen, because he is so focused on the transition. This is actually insane. Okay, so he's already focusing the hatchery. Serral, baneling nest, and spine crawler pulls to the main base, and this is a problem, because this is exactly what Lambo predicted he would do. And Lambo is like, hey, dude, I'm just going to take a free lead. If you let me kill this hatchery, I'm actually going to smash it. And you know what? I think maybe Serral actually should do the gasless response first. There's pull the queen to the natural, have built a spine even down here, pulled some drones down to defend it. Perhaps that is the way to defend this hatchery. As it is, Serral's lings are getting slaughtered. 8 for 1 trade. Doesn't even set off either of the banelings, and the hatchery's on the way. So he's already going to get a lead on the hatchery. That being said, Serral is mining so much more money. 300 more minerals a minute than Lambo right now. 18 drones versus 13. And that is because this base, only 13 workers, now 14, slowly saturating it. The problem is, how do you ever secure this expansion as Serral? He's going to have to put a creep tumor down, walk his spine crawler and banelings down, and desperately try to reestablish that hatchery. But he's already at least 45 seconds behind on the hatch. Probably going to be about maybe a minute and a half delayed if Lambo can delay this any longer. So it's a great way of getting himself ahead here, knowing that Serral was going to do a very cautious approach, trying to focus on surviving rather than defending the base. Lambo said killing the base is all I needed. That base, indeed, 50 seconds behind Lambo's. Even though Serral's a little ahead on the workers, that's going to change because Lambo's going to start injecting both hatcheries at once. 2 queens on him. He's already got 1 base full. He can now rally to the natural. This is a great play by Lambo. And he will pull these guys off gas as well in a moment. So he's still got the ling-bane on the map as well. Banelings for safety, lings for pressure and scouting. Roach Warren does go down in the back for Serral. And a second gas. Serral's going all in. I'm pretty sure Serral's going all in, guys. So I think we're going to see maybe 10 roaches off 25 drones. It's a crazy all in, but I think Serral's just going to try and all in him. That's what I'm expecting. Let's see. Yeah, he's already building extra overlords that he doesn't need yet. 1 extra overlord. Oh, the ling gets in? Are you kidding me? He walks in and sees the Roach Warren. Oh my god, Serral has a spine, a queen, a pack of lings and banes, and he totally messes up there. Has to abandon that plan. Cancels the Roach Warren, starts the lair. Lambo. Now, the only problem is if Lambo overreacts a little bit, he's going Roach Warren, lair, Evo himself, though. And honestly, this feels really awkward now for Serral, where he's like, and since he canceled the Roach Warren, what does he do? Does he go mutas now? He's got 2 gases up. I mean, I think he's got to go mutas. I don't think he can come back with any other way. Lambo, really, if he wants to continue the lead, if he knew what was happening, he'd take a third very soon. And really just take a third, get your creep out to it, get 4 or 5 queens up, and you'll be completely rock solid for the next step. He's got a lair coming in pretty quick as well, so if he can overseer scout, that'll give him a lot of info. Alright, Zerglings and Queen gonna defend there. No scouting for Serral. Just sees the natural gases have been taken, and that's about it. Spire does go down. Now, does Lambo overseer scout? I really feel like take this overseer. It's not the most important overlord right now. Make that into an overseer and get across the map. Serral going melee, locking himself into this tech path. Still no third base though. In this scenario, one of the best moves for Serral, and that's because I'm an expert at making muta comebacks. I know, expert compared to Serral. Well, he's a god. I'm an expert. He should actually... Oh, this overlord actually ruins that plan. Never mind. I was going to say, if you can chase this overlord to the right, like if it's standing there, you come down with a queen, you can sneak a drone down. If you take the bottom left corner base, that's your best bet. As Serral, you know you're going to be behind economically, or potentially get overwhelmed by units, right? Because he's just had a bit of an income lead for quite a few minutes. So you kind of expect there's a good chance your third base gets cancelled in these scenarios. You just don't have anything to defend it. He's got to spine up his natural. And this is why having a sneaky corner in the base is actually so powerful here. And Lambo with just a few roaches, lings, and banes is going to try and take this third down. He's still building a lot of roaches and banes, and he's on a pretty low worker count, though. I think Lambo might be overcommitting here. Big ling run by coming in. Melee is not done just yet. Oh, he's got a baneling, though. That safety. Baneling says, hey, boys, do you want to cuddle? Do you want to cuddle? Try and run past these roaches. Come and cuddle me on the high ground. Come on, baby. Come on. The Zerglings, of course, are Serral Zerglings. They are way too smart to do that. Overseer sees the Spire before the mutas pop. Gets the third base cancel. Time to pull back and drone. Right now, I think this is not too bad economically for Serral. It's just the lack of a third hatchery. And that's one of those things is in these scenarios, if you see you're going to lose a hatchery, immediately pop one down on the other side. Serral was a little slow to do that. He overemphasized defending with Evo Spine because he thought Lambo was full-on all-inning him. Lambo, though, staying flexible. He's just not. Let's drone up. Obviously, a Nidus a tempting option here. When you're in this kind of hodgepodge economy that's not that amazing, I got so many roaches and queens. You want to Nidus worm, and I'm sure Lambo was thinking of that. I think he might have even mentioned it in his video. But instead, he's just going to drone up, and he's actually going to go Tunneling Claws. So he's going to try and do Tunneling Claw harassment as a way of pinning the mutas back. Maybe secure a 4th base from there. And go like Lurker, Viper, Hydra is definitely a solid way to do it. He could try a 3-base push as well with Infestors and Fungal Growth, but we'll see what option it goes. Serral is fully committed to mutas. He's already gone melee. Now he's going +1 range or +1 air as well. And 12 mutas around the map, but he's really holding the muta key down. Now, I would actually call this a mistake from Serral. This is an issue that Rogue has had a lot versus Dark, where he tries to just focus on the muta production really hard to get damage. But if your opponent scouts your mutas, you don't have any momentum, they've got plenty of time to prepare, it's really bad to just continually produce mutas. It's much better to take a lot more drone production, a third, a fourth, a fifth base. This becomes kind of an all-in. Because he's committing all of his money for the last 3-4 minutes into mutas, it becomes kind of like these mutas need to do damage. One drone is worthless in this scenario. You need to find a big opening. And the fact that he's going 17, 21 mutas, he's going to need to actually like focus Spore Crawlers, focus Queens. This is like, I am looking for the damage. And if Lambo realizes this, just keeps building Queens, keeps building Spores, he should be okay against it. That being said, hidden base in the top. I was talking about this earlier. I think the corner's a better option than there. I really think the corners are my favorite place. Either way, would get scouted though, as those roaches are going to the top corner of the map, somewhere where they can hide and come in from later. He's trying to take that third, but still no mineral mining. And this is a big mistake. The mutas are really fearsome. You've got to build that economy up behind it. I do think Serral has made a bit of a mistake there by not droning that third. He's got a scary muta count, but look at this timing on the roaches. So the roaches are coming out at the perfect moment to pull the mutas home. I already talked about how Serral needs to do damage. Well, guess what? Now his mutas have to go home and defend. He's going to try and split his mutas apart because he feels that urgency. He knows he needs to damage the economy of Lambo. On the other hand, Lambo is doing a queen all-in. He's doing a queen infested roach all-in, a very cute timing attack. These roaches get blocked. But these roaches, that's where the damage is going to be found. Mutas on the other side run in, and one of them does die there to the spores and the queens. Lots of drones starting to fall here. And this is all stopping Serral from finding that damage with the Mutalisks that he was looking for. This is a disaster for Serral, who is unable to get his mining established on this third base. And Lambo, on the other hand, happy to sit on 55, 58 drones. He's got 3 infestors, 4 infestors on the way with pathogen glands. Interestingly, he's adding Hydra upgrades as well. But the fact that he hasn't worked towards a 4th base, the fact that he stayed very low on drones really does, like I said, make this look like a 3-base all-in rather than I'm going to go for the lurker hive. He's still building queens as well. So 12 queens plus fungal. And something I haven't really considered until recently is how good microbial shroud could be if your opponent goes this heavy on the Mutalisks. And that's something which is a bit of an eye-opener for me. So we'll see if he does that. With this amount of queens, I think he's got to be thinking about it. I mean, Zerg versus Protoss has been training everyone to always think about the uses of that. Great roach split. He'll lose 1. Tunneling Claw increased regen, pretty sick, but 1 roach does get out. 3 roaches on the top, going to find this base. Does he know about it? He does. He already knows about it. So he's going to go in there, and 3 drones, 4 drones, trying to take the gases here. Serral's economy is still pretty gypped, though. It doesn't feel great. Oh! Baneling run by, just got 17 workers on the south side. Lambo didn't have any vision out there, and he didn't have his unit split. In this scenario, you're always meant to have roaches here and roaches here, watching for those extreme flank angles where the banelings are going to roll in. That's a very predictable maneuver, and I'm telling you, Lambo's pissed off at himself for letting that through. Now his economy is actually way behind Serral's, but is it too late? He's got 4 infestors, 12 queens, 19 roaches, 16 hydras with groove spines, not even bothering with the move speed upgrade, and he's just going to dive in there and look for some damage. The drones evacuating, the queens evacuating. It looks like some lings ran in, but they got cleaned up by the roach hydra, and a few changelings there if Serral see this army coming. How the heck do you defend this? Normally, I'd say you just roll banelings into the hydras. I've never had to play against such a giant queen infestor walk, and doing that with Mutaling, honestly, I'm like, shit, man, I would want to have so many banelings and zerglings coming in from so many angles. I don't think muta count's really going to help with that many infestors. Definitely cutting off the rally, very nicely done by Serral. Picks off a few units on the behind. Maybe, yeah, he's got a baneling flank up there. I think he'd love to have a baneling flank from here as well. He just doesn't have that many banes, and if they get blocked by the roaches or hit by fungal, I don't know how well it's going to go. He's going for it. Hydras. A lot of the hydras will be falling, but great fungals on the banelings and a huge fungal on the mutas. Microbial shroud and another fungal goes down on the top and the bottom pack of mutas. And the mutas have taken so much damage. They're trying to stack up and pull out so that their regeneration can get working, but Serral's already lost his economy. He's evacuated to the top base with most of his drones. His mutas have pulled back to mine, and Lambo here with a very cute queen infestor push. This is actually beautiful play by Lambo. He's just find a way in. Muta's picking off some roaches. Transfuse is saving a lot of them, though. He's not going to try and push up the ramp. He's just going to pull over to the right side, is he? Okay, yeah. And more roach hydra coming across this map. So there we go. A few more drones being rebuilt for Lambo as he realizes that third base economy does look rather shite. And the roaches trying to pull back to the safety of the queens. The infestors, there's 2 of them still left right now. I think they're brand new infestors. No, they're burrowed and hid down the bottom. The mutas can clean up some of these roaches, and they will do just that. Got to be careful there, Lambo. You don't want to throw those roaches away, dude. Yeah, ran in the wrong direction for a moment. A lot of the roaches fall. Just waiting for these ever so slow queens to make their march on forward. The Hydra's a little far behind. Gets one, gets two. Ooh! 4 queen snipes. Nicely done by Serral. But remember, he's up against 2-1 upgrades. He's only got +2 attack on the mutas. I mean, it's definitely helping him. He can still focus these units with the 24 mutas. He gets another queen, another queen, another queen. It's just Hydras now. Hydras versus mutas. Who will win? The broodlings join in the fight. The Hydra count. There's not many left, and I think the mutas will win this battle. Serral defeats Lambo's army and has nothing behind it. He can pick off some roaches, but guys, he's only rebuilding his natural. He's got no mining. The problem here is that Lambo's got 2 infestors gathering energy. He's going to send those home. He's going to build more Hydras. He's going to have more infestors with the next wave. Lambo should probably build a 3rd and a 4th infestor as well, in my opinion. The roaches are going to damage the already absolutely crucially wounded economy of Serral. And those tunneling claw roaches really have done the Lord's work for Lambo in this game. They have done such good stuff. And behind it, the Hydra count is growing. He can always transfer workers, and he actually desperately needs to. As both players are mining out in their main and the natural, Lambo is going to reposition some workers on the gas. Definitely needs to get mining that base as well. Hydra infestors coming out. Fungal! Okay, he only gets 2 of the mutas and the overseer, but it does lock them in place. Only 13 mutas out right now versus 17 Hydras and still 1 fungal available. That just ain't going to cut it, man. That just ain't going to cut it. Too much damage is being taken. Serral showing some really good moves with how he picked his engagements, how he focused, fired, when he engaged, when he pulled back. But at the end of the day, he just didn't quite have the numbers when the push first came. And that comes off the fact that he was a little behind economically. Look how patient he is with the fungal. Oh, actually, he was just shy of the energy. And Serral unable to break it. Lambo ties up the series 2-2. All right. What's up, everybody? We are here with Game 5. Glittering Ashes, I mean. Shopify Rebellion's Lambo in the bottom left. And Ince Esports Serral. Both players going to be opening up with Hatchery first here. And this is going to be interesting to see where this goes. So this is a big map. This is a really, really big map, guys. And Lambo did a very special build order on this one. I actually haven't watched the game exactly, so I'm really curious to see how it unfolds. Because they're both playing standard, Lambo mentioned that basically what he's going for in this game was he wanted to try to make it really hard for Serral to guess if he was playing mutas or roaches as his focus, right? So we're going to see how he kind of denies the information and tries to make it look like it could be either, like not actually showing any roaches while having a roach horn tech and that sort of stuff, and maybe keeping Serral busy with ling-bane. And he actually is planning to rush Hive double Lurker Den if they make it to a macro game and get both Lurker upgrades at once and then just like hit a really fast Lurker timing before Serral can be ready for it. And this is, I mean, this just sounds wild to me. But obviously, I think this comes off the back of this is a big map. They're both economy players. There's a good chance they both drone up really hard. I think the one thing Lambo should be worried from my perspective, is if you're playing that, keep an eye out for a Nidus Worm. Serral does like timing attacks, and in the past, he really has enjoyed a 55 drone Nidus Roach all-in, and it can be really scary. A 55 drone Nidus Roach timing is just, it's scary. It hits really hard and fast, and at face value, it often looks very similar to just a big macro play, and then suddenly that roach attack just reinforces across the map so quickly. So definitely something to keep in mind. And we'll see if Lambo can, of course, make it up to that big macro stage, which he has his eyes set on. And I think we've kind of seen that when Lambo can predict what's going to happen in the game, he looks really next level in terms of his planning process. And I think this is what this video really revealed to me, is how much he thinks about what his opponent's doing, what they expect him to do, and then just basically figures out the options and tries to find a build that he thinks has the best percentage odds against the highest priority, the second priority, the third priority of what Serral is going to go for in these games. And he actually guessed very well. He's very good at predicting what his opponents are going to do. He studies their habits and figures out their patterns. And for now, both players just opening up with the Baneling Nest. So a little bit of map control. Neither side has lost a single unit. And of course, both of them taking that front triangular third. This is, of course, the grand finals of the next tournament that was held in December. So I'm getting to it a little bit after the fact, but it take a while to track down these replays and get my hands on it. And it's really cool, especially after Lambo took a while to edit that video and share all his thoughts and feelings with this performance and his analysis, most importantly, I would say. So it really got me just super keen to cast this Grand Finals. Evo Chamber Roach Warren there. Evo's finished Roach Warren. So he's going to deny the scouting. And we've got a second gas and a lair going up. Okay. Now, no second gas yet for Serral. +1 range, about 15 seconds ahead for Serral. Pretty mirrored build. Serral has not started the lair yet. I think he's just focusing on his drones super hard. And both sides just scouting with their Zerglings, trying to make sure they're not getting rushed. These two Zerglings set up here for Lambo. So he's going to dart into the third. And remember, guys, those fake transfers to the third have been a big feature in this series. Can he get in the natural? Nope, that queen's always on duty. I think Serral will do the same thing down here and see. Likewise, a pretty heavily saturated third. It's a little behind Serral's, but that just shows that he's taken his gas a little bit earlier. Doesn't necessarily mean anything. Queen gets in the wall. So neither side has shown any roaches yet. A lot more drones queuing up for Lambo. I think Lambo's identified, hey, I think this is a macro game. I'm going to hold that drone key down. I'm going to drop double gas, clean up that Zergling as well. And he does, in fact, go for the Spire. Lambo, okay. So Lambo is going to open up with the Spire. Very cute. So he's got Roach Tech, but he's really trying to keep Serral guessing. This is not going to be mass mutiling Bane. He's going to also keep it very, very hard to predict at this point. He's building one Roach for now, just a single one. Serral's still droning up. Serral's going to go straight for a fourth base, though. I feel like Mutas in this scenario can give you map control. They won't be able to do a lot of damage, and this actually flows really well. So if you can go Mutas, get map control, limit your opponent's vision, and then rush to double Lurker Den, your opponent might be focused on just setting up to defend Baneling Runbys, setting up to defend a big Roach push. And, Speed Overseer. He's going to see it. Serral loves that Speed Overseer. Such a great investment as he sees exactly what's going on. Sees the fourth base as well, and the gas is going down there. Hydra Den Infestation Pit goes down immediately after that scout goes through, guys. Oh, does he even not commit to the Mutas? Wouldn't it be cute if he didn't even build the Mutas? I think it's worth. I think you should still build at least your 4 or 5 Mutas. He's building just one for now. Zergling's kind of distracting. Roach is coming down the left side. Serral's saying, this is such a greedy game. Maybe I can get some damage done just by throwing a few Roaches at your base and catching you being too greedy. 8 Mutas are on the way now for Lambo. So he's going to go 8 Mutas. I think those Roaches kind of prompting him into not being too greedy there. But look at this. He's already thinking about taking to that next level. Now, he's got +1 range as well, so it's not like he's upgradeless. But you know what's? It's so funny. We focus so much on upgrades for Roach first Roach, but if you're planning to go to the next step, Lurker Den Hive is actually probably more important, right? He goes double Lurker Den? But he hasn't even started this Hive. Okay. Oh, cancel on the 5th base, or actually a kill there for Serral. Bit of a mistake for Lambo. Okay, the Hive does start up now. Hive does take longer than the Lurker Den, so you're meant to go Hive, then Lurker Dens. This high pressure scenario, everything's not completely perfect. And look at that, yeah. And +2 will still be done by the time you do your Lurker attack. So he's actually saying, look, it's more important to get the tech started. So many things we take for granted in StarCraft. No, you just always keep your upgrades going. Why not? You got to get your upgrades going. But it's like, wait a second, why? Is that important? If he's only got Roaches and he's building Infestors right now to try and stop a potential mutiling Bane attack, and notice the way, okay, now he sees a few Roaches from Lambo, but Lambo hid this for so long, and only now, upon seeing the Roaches, does Serral go for the Hive. The hiding of the Roach tech is actually huge here. Serral, I think he was really under the impression that he was up against a mass mutiling Bane play, because he saw the drone heading towards the 4th. He saw only Zerglings, Banelings, and Mutas so far, and now he starts his own Hive. He's also starting tunneling claws because he's thinking, oh, I got to buy some time. Lambo's already at 86 drones, and he's taking the 10 gases. If you guys are playing super high tech, Vipers, Lurkers, this sort of stuff, it's so expensive. Serral sees the double Lurker Den, but is it too late? His Hydra Den's only just started. He can't even start a Lurker Den just yet. The 5th base is up down here in the bottom right. He's already got 10 gases. If you guys are making Lurker, Viper, this gas is very important. If you're playing against mech with those sort of compositions, always rush up these gases. Same thing for late game against Protoss Air. So really, Lambo rushing to that stage. He's making 9 lurkers. He's got double upgrades on the way. And he's just going to rush in with what? A handful of roaches and a pack of lurkers and say, hey, man, I got permanently stim-packed 10-range siege tanks. Do you want to fucking play with them? I'll give you guys a clue. Nobody wants to play with permanently stim-packed 10-range siege tanks that their opponent has. Nobody wants to play with that. That's your friend literally using all the cheat codes. Hey, he's got the golden gun. He's using odd job or whatever. I don't know, whichever guy was overpowered in that game. I can't even remember. He's got the cheat codes. You're using this shit beta starting character. You don't even know what the buttons do. And he's like, yeah, come on, come over to my house. Play this game I have 4,000 hours in. I'm not even going to show you how to play because I'm a piece of shit. And that's why playing video games with your friends was shit when you were 9 years old, guys. Lurker's running in, already slaying the queens. We've got a bunch of shit. Ow! Ow! Okay, Lurker goes down. Okay, we'll see exactly what happens. Lurker's trying to run forward and siege up the roaches. They're going to go into the base. And, oh my god. Dude, I mean, that's just so many lurkers. They don't even have support. Unsupported lurkers are meant to be bad, but Serral, I mean, look at this. The thing is, they can dodge the biles as well. They unburrow so fast, it's so ridiculous. I cannot wait for that to get nerfed. Beautiful build order from Lambo, though. Dude, he is going to take the lead in this series. There's just no stopping this. Look, he's just marching forward. What have you got? You don't have any lurkers. Vipers? Okay, Blinding Cloud. Blinding Cloud might do it, but look at that. He just pulls out of the Blinding Cloud. Oh, it's a siege unit with stim pack. It's literally light cavalry and artillery combined into one. They're like, we're gonna make it light cavalry and also we're gonna make it artillery, and also they're quite tanky as well. The lurkers here are finally gonna get cleaned up, I think. But oh my, are they even gonna get cleaned up? You're kidding me. You're kidding me! Oh my god, and he smashes on through. He had a huge 94 drone economy behind it. Those lurkers are absolutely cracked. Beautiful double lurker down timing there from Lambo. Muters for the control. Hides the roaches to the last minute. Goes to the double lurker den. Beautiful play from Lambo. 3-2 advantage in this best of 7. All right, guys, let's get into the next game. Pride of Altaris in the top left. Shopify Rebellion's Lambo. 1 game away from sealing the deal. And guys, there is so much info going into this. Serral with the 12 pool in the bottom right. And guess what, guys? Lambo predicted this. I literally cannot even summarize all of his notes. Basically, there's only this and Blackburn left. Gold-based maps. These maps make ZvZ a bit random. He knows Serral hates these. So Lambo knew that Serral would expect him to go for the gold base, and therefore might 12 pool or punish it in some way. But he also knew that Serral knew, that Lambo knew about, you know, Serral wanting to counter his habits. And so as a result, Lambo, he weighed up the odds. He said, look, I could go gas pool into gold hatch, but that loses if he takes the gold. And in the end, he said, look, there's 2 things. If Serral expects me to maybe mind game, he just takes his own gold base, or he does some sort of early pressure to cancel the gold. But then Lambo said, you know what? I'm actually going to go for the gold. I think this is the best against him going gold hatch first. And I also think if he goes 12 pool, he can cancel this hatch. But as long as I don't transfer the drones right now ahead of time, like a lot of players would start transferring drones right now. He says, look, let's wait. And I won't transfer drones, and then I won't be far behind because I can just cancel or let the hatch die, rebuild it here, protect the new hatchery, and I won't even be behind. But unfortunately, guys, he actually missed those early Zerglings, so you're going to see him start to pull drones, and then he sees more Zerglings. So he just wasted a bit of mining time, a bit of inefficiency here from Lambo, but he has predicted this correctly, so he's feeling pretty good about this, and he's actually just calmly like, yeah, I'll let that finish just to buy time, some broodlings maybe do some damage. We'll build a hatchery here, we'll build a queen, and then I'll just make Zerglings and pull drones. We'll defend this. I'm up 6 drones. Look at the income tab. He says, this is just actually totally fine for me. Now, check this out, those guys. Serral is doubling down. He's gone 14 Zerglings. Most people only go 10. With a 12 pool gas list, you're looking for a hatch snipe and then to back off and build economy. But Serral has doubled down and said, I want to not just kill the gold, I want to keep going. He has committed so much to this. And I think he actually anticipated Lambo anticipating his 12 pool, and so he's built even more Zerglings. Already 12 here. 2 more about to arrive. Lambo does not have enough units to defend. He needs to keep the hatchery alive, but he hasn't pulled enough drones. Lambo needed to pull more drones. He was not expecting this many Zerglings out of Serral. And Lambo, despite his fantastic preparation, it's actually Serral who has an uncalculated, unpredictable addition to the build. He says it's not just 12 pull, it's 12 pull with 14 Zerglings, mother trucker. And that has caught Lambo off guard. If he didn't get the hatch cancel, if Lambo pulled a few more drones, I think he could have fought that, but absolutely caught him by surprise. And Serral, well worth the investment. Now going for a spine crawler. He says, look, he's probably got gas and ling speed up. I'm going to build a spine plus some queens for safety. Going to just drone up, and he's up a few workers with a much quicker expansion. He has the lead. Now, this is the point where Lambo has to go full just gamble mode. And Lambo recognizes this. Lambo recognizes this. He's going to go straight for the gold hatchery over here. He's like, I'm pretty fudged, man. I'm down at like 10 workers already. I'm going to go double expand there and the gold. And he's just going to try and do some wild gambles to get back in this game. This is exactly what you got to do. You know, often when you're playing StarCraft, you're putting your eggs in a few different baskets. You're trying to keep a balanced approach. It gives you flexibility. It lets you play the correct strategy against what your opponent's doing. But when you are behind, you want to break all those rules. You want to take all your eggs, smash them into one basket, commit everything in one direction really effing hard, and there will be one or two big weaknesses to it. But if you can somehow distract them, avoid them from taking advantage of those weaknesses, or they don't quite realize the gamble that you're taking, it can pay off. And double Evo chamber! Oh, Lambo! This is my favorite build. When you're in a shit position, when you're up against someone who's way better than you, one of the things you can use is mobility. Double upgrade Zerglings is all about that mobility. Look, he's already transferring drones to the gold. So he's going to just try and sit. And on 25 drones, he's actually massing lings already. Because he's anticipating, because he forced Serral to build so many Zerglings, or Serral had so many leftover Zerglings, I should say, and then he built the Zerglings to this pressure as well. He's like, okay, Serral's probably going to do some ling speed stuff as well. So he's not really high on drones. He's still down 12 workers. But look at that. Oh, Serral's got a delayed Bane nest, which is actually genius for this scenario right now. Oh, man, so many players would have gone straight to roaches on 2 base. But Serral, with some next level understanding, hides a Baneling nest in the back of his base, and now he's not only attacking with Zerglings, but also Banelings against a player whose strategy is very weak against Banelings. Now, obviously, the carapace, when that kicks in, will mean his Zerglings survive 2. It takes 2 Banelings to kill them, not just 1, but he's got to stop these Banelings morphing. He's got to stop that. You got to fight there, bro. Fight! Oh, he didn't see when they started morphing. He could have stopped most of those Banelings from morphing. Okay, he abandons ship. He abandons that base, pulls back to the natural. He's going to try and do an emergency wall off there, and he's going to go for the base trade. He's going for it, but 2 Banelings! 2 little waddly boys. Serral pulls him to the high ground. Lambo doesn't see it! Oh, good pullback, Lambo. Great quick reactions there. He's trying to trickle Zerglings in to do it. Serral kills the gold base. This is so bad for Lambo because he can't get in. He sets off one of the Banelings. He's going to try and set off another one. He does set it off. Serral focused on the front. The Evo Chamber's going to go down, though. Serral with the focus fire, and there's Banelings here. Big, bursty Baneling voids ready to explode on your face, and that is not what you want. And Serral finds the money shot. The Zerglings get in. The Zerglings actually get in, but he's losing everything at home as well. These Zerglings need to kill absolutely everything, and Zerglings do come in from behind for Serral as well. +1 melee is good. Is it good enough? Baneling's still alive in the base of Lambo. His Zerglings surrounded. The last Zerglings of Lambo die on Serral's side of the map. Serral still has 20 drones alive, and the last drones of Lambo are about to go down. The Banelings blowing up on some of them. The Baneling chasing after those lost Zerglings, and Lambo has to throw in the towel. We are going to game 7, baby. And it all comes down to this moment. This one opportunity. This one moment in time where this man could become a Premier Tournament champion for the first time in his life. It's Shopify Rebellion's Lambo. Going into Blackburn. His opponent, though, with some next level reads in the last few games. This is Serral. And of course, big love to everybody watching live. And indeed, I hope those of you who are having issues with lockdowns and COVID and everything else that you are able to hang out and play some video games. But oh my god, guys, we don't have any time to dilly-dally because Serral going for the gold hatch first, Lambo going for the cuck blue base, try hard, and he's getting taken advantage of. Serral's winning the mind games, taking the risk. Oh no! Or so the people were saying on the Reddit threads after this series, guys. But Lambo, with some insight, said he actually, in this game here, he was weighing it up and he said, you know what? I actually think he might go gold base, And I have a plan. I have a prepared plan. So what he's going to do is he's going to take the normal base into a third. And his whole plan here, if he spots that gold base, is he will send out a few Zerglings and hide them to make it look like he's morphing Banelings hidden somewhere on the map. That's gonna, he feels that he can, against any high level Zerg, they're gonna say, look, to defend against that, I need to make my own ling-bane. So he's gonna try and force Serral into committing to a whole bunch of speedlings and a Baneling nest, and he's actually just gonna go roaches himself. And then Lambo's going to go for a big old roach push on this map and try to kill a Serral who, yeah, he got a bit of an advantage off the gold base, but look at that. He sees the drone transfer, but not that much. And the fact that he's committed to Ling Speed and Banelings when Lambo's skipped all that, Lambo thinks he can actually kill a player. And he had this planned even from his previous series with Dark. Didn't get a chance to show it there as Dark did not go for the gold base. So this is actually Serral taking the big ballsy gold base straight away, transferring drones, going for Ling Speed. No Ling Speed for Lambo. Now, does Lambo, does he take a third with this? I'm not sure if he takes a third or he does 2 base roach. Either way, though, look at this. So Serral sees these Zerglings going north, and that apparently Lambo thinks is enough to trick Serral into making a Baneling nest, and he does. Serral builds a Baneling nest. He was already going Ling Speed because you need to control the map. And look, he just hides it. He just hides it in the last spot you look. So now it's a good chance Serral looks around this top side of the map, goes hunting. He does see the Evo chamber though. That Evo chamber is a big tell. That tells you that Lambo's actually macroing right now. That should tell Serral to go back to drones. Serral's already built 6 Zerglings, 8 Zerglings in total. He's going to build a 3rd hatchery, an Evo chamber of his own, and he should be doing pretty much nothing but droning. I actually think the hatchery, or maybe the Evo's a bit too early. You could see he's got a lot of lava sitting around that aren't being used because he's very shy on minerals right now. He's trying to queue those up, queue the overlords, but this is it, trying to figure out what your opponent's up to. Serral has not spotted the Roach Warren just yet. You know what? This is still, Lambo's up 5 workers, so he's actually doing pretty good, guys. Serral's a little ahead on the income, but only a little bit. And this is going to be a pretty crisp attack that could come out of Lambo here. So we've got Carapace on the way. He's going to go Roach Speed. And how many queens has he got? 3 queens as well. Okay, this is really interesting. Serral going for that 3rd base. Now, of course, the big problem Serral has as well with this gold is Lambo can push up here, deny these gold minerals, and that's going to be a big hiccup in Serral's income as well. So Lambo, if he does that, he could push forward on that angle and then use that to just even before he's ready to fight, create a position where Serral loses income, and that makes your actual attack even stronger. A really high worker count for Lambo, though. I've got a question if he's overdroned here, guys. That feels like overdroning to me. I think he's built a few more workers than he intended. I think this is meant to be a 41 drone Roach Queen attack. And it's interesting that he's gone Carapace. They're both going Carapace. Serral's is a bit later. Obviously Carapace is very good for the Zerglings, whereas range only helps the Roaches. Part of me feels like we should just go range, though, if we're going to be going for Roach Speed. It's a really interesting call. Roaches are now being built for Serral as well. I do think, and imagine if he hit with +1 before Serral's Carapace kicked in. That would be cool. Either way, though, getting ready to move out here is Lambo. His Roach count is building. And there we go. He's going to start. Okay, so he's got 3 queens, 4 queens. So 2 queens look like they're going to join the attack. And he's getting ready to march on out. Roach Speed already almost finished. Lair just starting now for Serral. Serral's only on 41 drones. So he's playing this very safe. And I think that's the right way to do it. Honestly, this feels perfectly balanced by Serral. He's not that far behind on the Roaches. It's just the lack of Roach Speed is really going to hurt. That's the problem, is how do you defend this gold base? Because you can't move out into the open or you'll get surrounded out there. And look at that. Oh, he's creating a poo highway. It's a shit highway, guys. Look at that. He's pooping creep out of those overlords to get little patches of creep to boost him up. Allows him to get over here even faster, especially with the queens, which get a massive speed boost. Roach is running forward on the gold base. He's going to run forward. Now Serral, he just abandons it. And Lambo actually said his dream was that Serral would come out and try to fight him down here. He really hoped that Serral would fall for that. But Serral, showing a lot of maturity, just pulls back, transfers to the safe blue base. They're on pretty much equal income right now. Almost identical unit count. Actually, 8 Roaches ahead for Lambo. That's a pretty big lead. And they're both going into +1 range at about the same time. Big Ling run by, But wait, no, he's got 6 Roaches. Yeah, they'll handle this. especially if he brings that queen forward and those other roaches to help out as well. I think this is still a good fight for Lambo. Yeah, he pulls back, morphs one into a Ravager to keep it alive. Well done by Lambo. This is delaying his attack, though. Is he taking too long, perhaps? Lambo still gathering up his forces. You could argue that, I mean, it's okay to take your time because we forced those drones to transfer. They're both building equal numbers of units right now in terms of, you know, the production. Obviously, Lambo doesn't have the third hatch. Serral does, but I mean, they're both spending their money. So as long as you hit your injects, 2 hatchery is fine. He gets a bile, kills a drone. Very cute, very cute. And Overseer comes on in right now. Serral still sees mass roach production coming. He knows he's just got to try and mass those numbers. Keep it up, 37. He's up like 20 roaches right now. Oh my. Oh me, oh my. That is a big roach advantage right now for Lambo. Dude, things like the transfer of workers, the early drone lead seems to have built into a pretty massive roach count advantage. Similar Ravager numbers, but up about 20 roaches. Obviously, defender's advantage is here. Serral's army will be closer to the fight. Easier for him to rally his units in here, but it's time for Lambo to go. Guys, +1 is kicking in about 5 seconds. Ling's being a bit of a distraction. Lambo does panic pull his units home for a moment there, and he knows +1's finished. He's got to go. He's got to force this fight now because he's got a big unit advantage, but 20 roaches, it's a lot when it's 40 versus 20. It's not as big when it's 70 versus 50. Let's see if he can break him. Lambo's going to go for it. He's going to go for it right here, right now. And look at that. Biles landing on both sides. The queen's up front. The queens go down. Lambo, his queen's moving too far forward, a big mistake, and he only got 2 transfuses off them before they went down. Still though, he's got good numbers. He's dodging the biles as best he can, moves forward. Those roaches moving in. He tries to focus down the Ravagers, but he ends up actually losing quite a few of those to the enemy roach fire. Good dodges on the biles from him. Serral has a nice arc though. Serral trying to pull back. These roaches run in and try to focus the Ravagers, but they actually ate a bunch of their own corrosive biles, and this is a big problem for Lambo. Oh, but wait, no, this is still looking like it might be okay. He's going to lose that Ravager, though, which is always rough. And no, the Lings from behind are so huge as well. Oh, that is massive. Serral with a 4 drone lead, and he's chasing down the reinforce. Maybe, oh, does Lambo have the numbers to stabilize this? Maybe it's a good arc for him, but the Ravagers in the back adding such good damage, not to mention those biles coming in. Man, eating those biles was huge, as well as losing the queens up front was just absolutely monstrous. And this is actually insane. At this point, it looks like Lambo is in just such a big trouble, right? Because that gold base now goes back to mining, and we're going to see that income. It's up for Lambo. It's up for Serral. Watch it go. Whoop. Look at this. That's going to get bigger and bigger, guys. Tell you what you don't want to see get bigger and bigger, and that is your... If there's a Zerg standing opposite you in the change room, and you're like, why is this guy making eye contact? And then you just see... Holy crap.
Thanks for the entertainment, my dude. 0.48180000 LTC.
Holy crap. Thank you so much for the love, everybody. You do not want another Zerg in the change room making eye contact with you and then seeing their economy grow bigger. Their economy grow bigger. And Serral's economy is bigger. He's also got a big army. Big army, big economy. Where's your advantage lie? This is... I mean, Lambo's not too far behind in the numbers. I think he could bring this back, but he's a little behind in the upgrade, and now he's losing a lot of overlords on the map. He needs to get that overlord speed maybe, or just kind of do some evasive maneuvers on those overlords. Serral's actually not that far ahead in supply, and the gold base will mine out. It mines out really quickly. It's only now taking a 4th. You know what? Lambo might be able to get back in this game. He's trying to squeeze out a few more drones. This is still, I mean, the numbers are so close right now. Lambo has 2 more Ravagers right now. I mean, this is really interesting to see how this game evolves over the next minute or two. And does Lambo go for his gold base next, I wonder? Because this game is still very even in the supply, and both players are so afraid to get a Spire. So afraid to go up the tech tree. They're worried about these fierce and brutal roach timings coming out. These absolutely savage roach timings that have just done so well throughout this series. And guys, I will be giving a massive thanks, of course, to that support from Ben in just a moment. Thank you so much, mate. Oh, Overlord barely surviving there for a moment longer. Guys, 48 drones, 47. It's still locked in. This is pretty damn even. The problem I see is that Serral has so much momentum and map control. This brings back shades of 2000 atmospheres where the players are so even, But because Serral has map control, I think Lambo might feel forced to just all in. And Serral, on the other hand, you can see he's thinking about just trying to kill him, but I don't think it would be a good idea. I honestly think whoever plays more defensive here and slowly crawls into some extra tech, some extra upgrades, is actually going to have the big advantage. +2 kicks in for both sides. Lambo is a bit clumped up there, eats a few biles. Nice split from Serral, but I actually think the positioning might be a little better for Lambo. Ooh, oh my god, this is such an interesting fight here. Lambo, I think, won that fight a little bit, but you can see Serral had, I guess, a little bit more bank, maybe? I'm not sure how his supply just got even bigger, but it did for now. I think Lambo still could absolutely get back in this. He's just got to remax on these roaches. Serral, the problem is Lambo's not scouting behind this, right? It feels like he's not really scouting and doesn't have that much info. Serral can still see no gas taken on the third. That Overlord, of course, Overseer in pervert mode, has an eyeball popped out the back of its head. For those who don't know, evolved for perving. Oh, watch out for the biles. Barely dodges them. And okay, he's going to go in. Roach run by on the top, getting ready for Serral. Lambo's trying to chase him down. I think Lambo senses he's got maybe a bit of an army advantage. He actually doesn't right now. And the 4 Roach run by. That's the big one. Serral, from being so in his face to then pulls back defensive, sends 4 Roaches in. Lambo's economy is not great. Lambo feels forced to all in right now. He's just grabbing his whole army. I don't think he's sending anything home to deal with this, just using his rally as best he can and his queens. He's going to gather up one more big push. He's going to go for it, but look at the arc from Serral. Look at the arc from Serral. Nice pullback by Lambo. He's got to pull up to the left as well, though. He's got to use all the space that he can, but his Ravages trapped in the front a little bit here, and it looks like Serral just has the numbers. The biles are savage, and Lambo has to tap out with the GG. Serral manages to defend the onslaught with the 4-3, and what an absolutely fun and exciting series that was, guys. Damn, it's so close for Lambo here, and I really do recommend you all go out and actually watch his video, because I think it's awesome to hear his insight. And he actually, it's kind of, you can hear the pain in his voice when he's talking about this fight as it happens, guys, but let's watch it here in slow-mo. Now, he says, I accidentally move commanded my queens. I don't know how that happened, but somehow they move commanded into the front of the fight, and I don't even know how it happened, but they ended up in the front and they died. Now, if we select those queens, they were never on move command for a bit. Wait, what's happening here? How did the... I'm trying to figure out what's happened with those queens as well. What just happened there? That was so confusing. So he accidentally says he move commanded these queens, guys, and they got stuck up front. And check it, they're on an A move. You can see their A move command, and then their A move somehow got removed there. I don't know what command they have, but they're definitely on a move command. Otherwise, they'd just be hitting these Zerglings. So they shuffle to the front of the army. They drop 2 transfuses, and then they die. And then a Ravager gets caught in the front. Those Ravagers get caught in the front. So this was not the way Lambo wanted this fight to go. And this kind of goes back to when his Roaches got pulled home by the Zerglings, and he was just like not quite as set up, I think, here as he wanted to be. Where this should have just been a move for him. He's a bit too pedantic, I think. And then here he should be fine. But what happens here is it looks like he controls his whole army and clicks it down here. Whereas what he should be doing is these guys should be right-clicking here. And these guys should be right-clicking here to pull back. And then you A-move them again, and they'll naturally form a giant concave. But look at the way the units up top all kind of move south. He just grabs the whole army and clicks it. So it was a bit of a very lazy dodge. These units on the south were already in the perfect position. They didn't need to move at all. Ooh, that's rough. That is rough. That's a rough one, isn't it? Ooh, big elk? A big elk boy rating? What's up, elk? So that was real unfortunate for him. Loses the queens, loses a Ravager early on in the fight. Serral manages to focus one of his Ravagers down before he can pull it back. And then he pointed out, Lambo pointed out there's a point here where he thought he could win, and he moves forward to kill the enemy Ravagers, and he actually eats his own biles. So I think he's going to eat 2 biles in just a moment. These 2 biles. Oh, yeah, they're pretty big. They hit like 4 or 5 roaches, those 2 biles. Damn, man. Youchie, youchie, youchie. If we also look at the start of the fight, we also see 7 Ravagers for Serral on the defense versus only 4 on the offense. So definitely really allows him to spread a lot more biles across the line. And notice how he uses them so slowly and calmly. It's always two at a time. 2 by 2 vials of blue. And you can see he just keeps spreading them out a few at a time. So Serral, very patient, keeps a constant stream of vials spreading across his opponent's line. Beautiful, beautiful play by him. And really just a great hold from what was a very well-planned timing attack from Lambo. GG, well played. This was an amazing finals run, dude. And we're all really proud of Lambo. Go check out that video, guys. And thank you very much for watching. We'll catch you guys in the next one. Goodbye and good night.